In the previous video, we see how the father is fighting with the vampire, gaining the upper hand in the fight. However, the Joker vampire enters the battlefield. To the Joker's surprise, the father was already prepared for him and brought out a missile, firing on him. However, Joker was much stronger than expected, and he single-handedly destroyed the missile. Meanwhile, Haen grew increasingly worried his father failed to return home. Venturing out into the night, she followed his trail, leading her to a blazing inferno engulfing a nearby church. Panic gripped the air as firefighters scrambled to contain the flames and evacuate the trapped occupants. Haen's heart sank as she learned that father was trapped beneath the rubble, his life hanging in the balance. Stricken with fear and indecision, she wrestled with the urge to rush to his aid while concealing her true nature as a vampire. Aware of the consequences of revealing herself, Haen felt helpless as she stood on the sidelines, torn between love and self-preservation. Memories of happier times with father flooded her mind, causing Haen's resolve to waver. However, she heeded the warnings of the firefighters, who urged her to stay back for her own safety. In the midst of chaos and uncertainty, father's voice cut through the chaos, urging her to prioritize her own survival and care for her cousins in his absence. With tears welling in her eyes, Haen reluctantly stepped back, her heart heavy with the weight of her promise to her father. As the flames raged on, she vowed to honor his wishes and persevere no matter the cost. After killing father, vampire Lucien was seen partying in his club, jubilantly requesting drinks to keep coming as he planned to party all night. On the other hand, everyone was crying, Haen's cousins and other members of the church alike. All the detectives were also present. Wang was there as well. They saw Haen standing in front of father's picture, comforting her cousins after his death. Haen told her cousins that they needed to move to a different orphanage since father was not around. She explained they couldn't stay here for long and instructed them to study well and behave so father wouldn't have to worry about them in heaven. Haen was sad and burdened, taking all the blame for father's death upon herself. While packing her belongings for the move, she found a few letters in father's cupboard. Suddenly, she noticed that a few letters had her name on them, to Haen. She picked one up, dated from 2010 to 2012. As she started reading the letters, father had written about everything that happened between him and Haen. He wrote about scolding her, though he didn't mean to, and how she didn't change a bit. He described how Haen used to go to buy medicine in the middle of the night and take care of him. Father also mentioned that before he met Haen, he was walking down a path of guilt, but because of her, he found the meaning of life again. He expressed his trust in her powers and how she brought about a good influence. Father confessed he could never gather the courage to give these letters to Haen, as he believed she didn't see him as a good person. Reading this, Haen felt sad and started crying a lot. Memories flooded her mind, each letter resonating deeply with her. She remembered the late nights spent caring for father, his gentle guidance, and the unconditional love he had shown her. Each word on the page was a testament to their bond, a bond that transcended words. As the tears streamed down her face, Haen realized the depth of father's love for her, a love that had sustained them through the darkest of times. After some time, Haen composed herself and wiped away her tears. She made a silent vow to honor father's memory, to carry on his legacy of kindness and compassion. Determination filled her heart as she resolved to protect her cousins and ensure they had a bright future ahead. But amidst her determination, anger simmered beneath the surface. Anger at the injustice of father's death, anger at the senseless violence that had torn their lives apart. Haen's expression hardened as she clenched her fists, her resolve turning into determination. She knew that in order to truly honor father's memory, she had to seek justice for his untimely demise. With a steely gaze, she vowed to avenge his death, to confront those responsible and make them pay for their crimes. But she also knew that it wouldn't be easy, that the path ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty. Yet, she was willing to face whatever challenges came her way, fueled by the memory of father's love and the strength it gave her. With a sense of purpose burning within her, Haen stood up and took a deep breath. She knew that the journey ahead would be difficult, but she was ready to face it head-on. For father, for her cousins, and for herself, she would not rest until justice was served. And with that resolve firmly in place, she set out into the unknown, determined to bring closure to the chapter of their lives that had been marked by tragedy and loss. In the dimly illuminated confines of the investigation department office, Wang and his colleague found themselves deeply engrossed in a fervent discussion regarding the recent surge in vampire-related incidents following the untimely demise of the father. With a thoughtful demeanor, H-Wang cautioned against hastily casting judgment on all vampires, suggesting that some might have unwillingly found themselves thrust into their newfound existence. He stressed the paramount importance of delving into the root cause of the escalating crisis, advocating for a more nuanced approach to dispensing justice that took into account the complexities of individual circumstances. Drawing the attention of his colleague to a photograph prominently displayed on the notice board, H-Wang meticulously recounted a litany of heinous acts attributed to the sole heir of the influential Jahan group, the very individual responsible for the tragic loss of their leader. As his colleague pieced together the identity of the malefactor, an unmistakable sense of apprehension washed over the room, the mere sight of his visage evoking a visceral reaction among all present, given his notorious reputation. Meanwhile, within the opulent confines of his establishment, Lu Nim reveled in the decadent pleasures of his debauched lifestyle, surrounded by a retinue of sycophantic associates who hung on his every word. Boasting of his insatiable appetite for the blood of youthful victims, Lu Sai's indulgence in a libation of blood took a tragic turn, resulting in an unfortunate mishap that left his paramour's attire stained crimson. Despite the earnest entreaties of the remorseful waiter and his willingness to shoulder the blame, Lu Sai's impetuous nature prevailed, leading to a fatal altercation that left the servant silenced, much to Lu Sai's dismay and the collective shock of those present. As anticipation mounted for the imminent arrival of Heian, the harbinger of retribution, Lu Sai found himself reflecting on the tumultuous events that had led to his transformation into a creature of the night. From a troubled childhood marred by acts of aggression and defiance to a chance encounter with a vampire, Lu Sai's metamorphosis was fueled by a burning desire for power and vengeance. With newfound strength and heightened senses, he ascended to a position of authority, wielding his influence over his fellow creatures with impunity. Donning the crown of thorns as a symbolic representation of her burdens and unwavering commitment to the pursuit of justice, Heian stood resolute outside the club, her eyes ablaze with a righteous fury that seemed to pierce through the darkness of the night. As two vampires from Lu Sai's order approached her with feigned courtesy, Heian's disdainful curl of the lip signaled her refusal to entertain their pleasantries. Asserting the necessity of observing proper decorum, she delivered a swift and decisive kick that sent the club's door flying open, effectively thwarting the vampire's attempt to impede her progress. Undeterred and fueled by a singular determination to confront Lu Sai and hold him accountable for his actions, Heian stood poised at the threshold, every sinew in her body coiled with the intent of bringing him to justice. Inside the Red Bomb Club, people danced in a corner. Ladies were discussing their perfume with the manager, who was enjoying the conversation too. While this was going on, a vampire's body fell from above in front of the ladies. Heian entered the club, and people started scattering, trying to avoid getting caught in the fight between these monstrous beings. While Heian was moving forward, the manager, who was himself a vampire, took a lady hostage and started threatening Heian, asking her not to move even a single inch. The lady started screaming and begging for help. However, Heian swiftly took the lady behind her and mocked the manager for being childish. Heian advised the lady to hide somewhere, but the lady was a vampire too. She tried to attack Heian from behind and jumped upon her, thinking she had dominance over Heian. However, Heian was not just a normal vampire. She grabbed the lady and smashed her on the ground. The manager was shocked and amazed by Heian's power. Heian smashed the head of the lady and called out Lu Nim, as she was done with fighting these weaklings. The vampires working for Lu Sai decided to handle Heian on their own and started attacking her, but they all faced a merciless defeat by Heian. Heian almost killed everyone in the club. The club was a proper mess, with broken glass and chairs thrown left and right. Even after fighting so many people, Heian didn't even get a single injury on her body. She was frustrated with all these vampires, as she only wanted to kill the person responsible for her father's death. Finally, Lu Nim arrived, the man who killed her father. Heian asked him if he was the one responsible for her father's killing. He avoided the question and offered her a bottle of blood. Upon asking again and again, Lu Sai answered her with a smile on his face that he had no other option, as he didn't receive good hospitality from her father. The vampires gathered again and decided to try their luck. However, Heian was in no mood to play with the weaklings. A vampire came to assault her, but Heian removed his abdomen from his body, freaking out the other vampires. Heian said her father was an unrelated person. There was no point in killing him. She furiously charged towards Lu Sai, and the vampires started running for their lives. They also believed that Lu Sai was going to die too. She landed a punch on Lu Sai's face, and there was a blast. However, Lusai was still standing there, smiling at Heian, and told her that she wasn't the only pure blood. In the investigation department, H-Wang was talking to someone, asking about their health, and if they were eating right, advising them to wear a jacket as the climate was chilly there, and also said that he'll be bringing good food once he comes back. Suddenly, a person came rushing to H-Wang's office and informed him about the incident happening in the Red Bomb Club. H-Wang asked him to let's head out. Meanwhile, in the club, Lusai Nim asked Heian if she thought she was the only pureblood. He dodged her attack and came to a safe place. He started thinking more of his powers and thinking less of Heian. He started thinking that Heian was just another vampire, or he was the strongest among them. The vampire standing there started thinking to himself that Lusai Nim was more powerful than he thought. He realized that was the power of God which he received. The Dark Age where vampires made an appearance and they separated the country into 7 territories and placed each vampire to rule them and called them lions. After the 6th seeding, he went off into war zone territory. It was a long battle and full of blood, but it ended quickly when this man appeared. Lusai finished the battle in 2 days, due to which he received a gift from God which was the blood of a pureblood. The pureblood had extraordinary genes of a higher being caused one to be reborn as a superior existence. Thus a vampire drinking pureblood will grow strong extraordinarily. While Lusai was being confident about his powers, he got a punch from Heian, but this time it broke one of his side teeth. Lusai was amazed by her power. He couldn't imagine himself getting beaten by a vampire. Heian went for another strike, however, he disappeared from there and he switched off the light and started the music. Lusai thought even though she is a pureblood she couldn't concentrate in such a situation. As Lusai knows every corner of the club, he thinks he can save himself from Heian. But Heian was standing just beside him. Heian held him by his neck saying he can't hide from Heian as she can smell the blood. Lusai was threatened to his core, his legs were not moving and he couldn't speak a word. Heian told him that the higher you are, the harder you fall, and told him how he took people's lives without giving it a second thought. While Heian was beating Lusai, he mentioned not to think as this was done here as the vampire from different places are gonna come back for her, and they'll kill everyone around you. Heian said it's okay as she's gonna go and rip them apart before they come. Heian almost killed Lusai, but behind standing policemen and H-Wang asked to hands up and turn around slowly. H-Wang aimed her gun at her, asking her who she is. Here the video ends. Heian finally takes revenge on his father by killing the Joker vampire. However, she is being surrounded by the police. Let's see what happens to Heian in the next video, whether she is caught by the police or if she manages to escape from them. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.